Hi YouTube, XtremeTrainz here. So this is the video you've all been waiting for, as you've seen from the title, as you've seen from the cards, as you've seen from the teasers. This video is going to be about the 2020 Wave 1 Thomas & Friends Minis. I'm so glad I can finally bring this review to you, and I'm so sorry it's taken so long, but obviously they took a long time to get to Australia, and then also, unfortunately, I missed a bunch when I bought them the first 3 times. So there's that. But if you're still here, awesome, because we're going to do this review right now. Let's do it. So the first thing we're going to look at in this minis review is going to be the packaging for 2020. So you can see that it has changed. We've got a different logo. We've got the red engine there, which is different. And we've got all new pictures of the engines in this series, which is good. I'm glad we finally updated this. The rest of the design is the same. What we're going to do is, should have prepared this earlier, but I did not prepare it very well. You get a new collector's booklet. And what's interesting about 2020 minis is that all of the items in this wave are in the first wave, if that makes sense. So everything on this pamphlet is in the first wave, and it completes all the sets. So you get all the Galaxy ones in one wave, you get all the Ice and Snow in one wave, you get all the Classic 75th in one wave, you get all the, there's no splitting, waiting the whole year to collect any of the themes. They're all in this one theme together, which I think is quite interesting. The other thing that's interesting is you've only got 2 repeats of the classics, which if we come to here, we can see. We get them, so yay, now I get to get a Harold because I didn't have one because Wave 2 didn't come to Australia last year. And then the other repeats are the Rainbow engines, so they are also a repeat from last year, but that is fine. The rest are all exciting and new. So that's enough talking about this. Let's do it. Alrighty, so here they are, the entire collection of the Thomas Wave 1 2020 minis. I'm so sorry it's taken so long for you guys to see these. As you will have seen from my updates, the reason this wave has been so confusing to collect is because there's no real place to get a complete checklist. So I had to go back 5 separate times because I kept missing out 1 or 2 minis each time. So I actually did get all these out to review them, all of them ready to film, and then I realized I was missing 2 minis and I was like, no! So as you can see, they really do take up like my entire desk. You can see I've got my camera in widescreen mode, which is kind of why it's a bit distorted. Around the edges there, but we will switch to the normal mode so you can see everything. I just want you to get all in the frame. And let's remember too, here are the rainbow ones, which are a repeat from last year, which is why I'm not going to review them, but you also would have the rainbow ones in this series as well. So this is a massive series, and there's a heap of new engines in this wave. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. So the only 2 classic engines we get in this wave are the Classic Bertie, who I have previously reviewed in other series. So I'm not going to have a quick look at him, but he does come in the series. And the other one is the Classics Harold, which I'm really glad we got again, because if you know, Wave 2 of the 2019 minis didn't come to Australia, so I didn't have a Classics Harold, and now I've got one, which is really exciting. So let's take a look. I think the Harold mold, it's really weird because obviously Harold isn't supposed to have wheels, but I think they've done a pretty cool job of capturing a lot of Harold's really important shapes, and similar to Kevin, they've really gone above and beyond, get the pun, with including the little spinning propeller. I don't think they had to do that. I think if they hadn't done that and it just molded as a single piece, it would have been understandable. But the fact they went to the extra effort of giving him that little spinning thing, I think adds a whole lot of play value and makes him look really nice. So if you look at Harold's face, really nice Harold face there. His smile is a little bit hidden away, but that's okay. All the nice Harold detailings. I suppose you could maybe get a bit sad that he's got this block part at the back here. It would be nice maybe that was hollowed out, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, he has just grey wheels. So, this is fine. Obviously, minis are weird, and this Harold is no exception, but I think for what they've done, this is pretty nifty. So I'm really glad to finally get a Classics Harold in my collection. Now, let's come to the first, and maybe the ones you've been waiting for the most, series. And this is a really big series. I don't think I can think of off the top of my head any mini series that have 8 that come in the normal blind bags. Like obviously there's been the special packs and stuff. For example, the glow in the darks, there was 2 5 packs of them. But in terms of the minis which come in the blind bags, 8 in a single series is quite a lot. And it's not even the only special edition for the 75th anniversary minis we're getting. In the second wave of minis, we're also getting some classic liveries and the Diamond Thomas as well, which I think is a really cool piece of continuity between the ranges. But anyway, essentially you can kind of see these are very similar designs. So what are the designs? It's the classic engines, as you can see, and then they've got on them, on the top on their cabs, they've got the 75 logo for Thomas, which I think looks really nice. And then also on the sides, they've got the 75 logo for Thomas. And then they've also got these star sunglasses put on them. So I'm a bit torn on these ones because I really like this on the top. I think this is nice. I think this is okay. I think on some of the other engines, it's been placed a bit weirdly. And I think the weird thing is how it's got that white halo around it. I think that makes it look a bit strange. But the thing I really don't like about these is kind of the glasses. I understand they were going for like a, you know, famous superstar vibe, but I just think they look a bit weird, especially because, like, you know, they're printed over the pupils of the end. Like, you know, they're not flat. They're like, you can see the eyes underneath the glasses print, which I think is a bit strange. So I think from distance, they don't look too bad, but up close, they do look a bit weird. So I think I would have preferred them to maybe have been, like, not painted in glasses, like have been like a, you know, like see-through or something, like maybe they have a yellow coating over them or something. But I think trying to make them solid does make them look a little bit weird. So that's what Thomas looks like. Again, Percy's the same. And you can see what's interesting is that this decal is actually not over the top of the normal decals. So it doesn't go over the 6 and the stripe. They just didn't paint the stripe or the 6 on this one and just put that logo there. So there's a logo on the top and you can see the glasses. I think Percy's glasses maybe look slightly less weird. Maybe slightly more weird, depending on how long you look at them. But yep, that is what Percy's looks like. The next one we come to is Rebecca. And as you know, when I reviewed the individual version of Rebecca, Rebecca is a weird mini in that she doesn't have a tender. And I really don't know how I feel about that still. Because I actually think aside from that, she's a really nice looking mini. Like I love her design and her face and everything's really cool. I think her glasses look all right. They don't look anywhere near as weird as Thomas's. Again, Rebecca is, again, unique in that she doesn't have that white kind of outline. So let's just, for a comparison, you can see that Thomas has that white outline and Rebecca doesn't, which I think looks much nicer having it just as the black print. And then you can see the little 75th on the top there. Obviously, that didn't quite print properly on those edges, but whoops. So yeah, that's what Rebecca looks like in this series. I think it's unfortunate that we got all the Steam team except Toby, or like the new Steam team except Toby in this series, but anyway, whatever, it is what it is. Again, I think Nia's looks weird. You can see her glasses, especially they seem like they're a bit low down on her face. And again, you can see all the other normal Nia details. And again, you know, you can see that Nia has the white, but again, she also does have the printing of the whole stripe and they printed the black over the top. So it's really inconsistent. I think that's the thing don't like about this badge. It's a bit inconsistent how they do it. What I think would have been nice is instead of having the number, where the number is on the engines is to always put it there. But it seems like it's kind of random where they put it. Like, you know, Thomas, it was where the number was, but then Nia, her number is there and it's not there. And then Rebecca's number is on her cab, but they didn't put it there. So see what I mean? It's just some weird placement going on with where they decide to put it. So Gordon's, you can see, is where his number would be, which makes a lot more sense. And you can see that they've squeezed in the 75 logo there. The rest of his printing's all the same. Yep, there you go. Gordon's glasses again. Don't want to spend too much time on these because they are just the normal decos aside from these extra little changes. Again, James's is weird because it's like printed across his tender and his cab. Like, it's cool they can do that, but it does then look a bit funky. And again, no white outline. So like, why? And there's the front and there is that little logo on the top. And then there you go, Emily again. But Emily gets the white, and I think Emily's looks funny because they don't paint any of her cab detailing at all. You just get this. So again, it seems super inconsistent as to how they are painting these, which is so bizarre. The last one is kind of a repeat in that we got this, I think, in the second year of Thomas Minis. We got the Platinum Thomas. And this is, again, a similar take on that. We've got the logo on the top, but not on the sides. And also there's no glasses, so that's interesting. But he is kind of billed as part of the 75th series. And you can see for some reason mine has kind of got those weird splodges on the paint. That is also, you can see that also in real life. But for comparison, this is the original Silver Thomas or Platinum Thomas Mini. And I actually think they've done some interesting color swaps with this new one. So you can see the new one is a darker shade of silver. And it actually does have the cab roof painted, which the other one didn't. And it's also got the coal detailing painted. So who knew Mattel would add more details to things? We've also got this has also been done in that shiny silver, whereas on the original version 2016, I think it was, it's just that grey plastic. And then again with the wheels, we've got just grey plastic. Whereas on this one, the running board has been done in the shiny silver, whereas this one, the running board was done in just the grey. And you also have the transparent clear wheels. And you can see the grey paint goes all the way down behind them. So that, to me, is quite interesting that they've actually kind of done a better job with the paint, and they have actually changed some of the things they've done with this one to make it a bit more special. And I think I would have preferred, for 75th anniversary, chrome versions of all the engines with just this on the roof versus the weird kind of glasses thing that they actually ended up going for. But yes, that is what this series looks like. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, so this is the new Galaxy line, which is very similar to the Space line, which we had a couple of years ago, but they've done, thankfully, some different engines and some different prints. So the first one here is Bash or Dash. I did not consult my notes. It's one of the twins in like a very outlandish paint scheme. And again, I quite like these ones when they do the transparent plastic. You can see it's the transparent with the glitter in that nice blue with some like UFO alien action on there. Again, I think it's fine. I think choosing these guys as to do it is kind of weird. I know one of them has like a blue paint scheme with blue and orange. I forget which one is which. But it does seem strange to me when you could have picked a blue engine to do this. But that's fine. Whatever floats your boat, Mattel. The next one, excuse me, is Ashima. I think they've done a good job with her. And again, this is where I think they've taken her color scheme, which is like that purpley rainbow color, and applied it in a really cool way to make her look like a galaxy. I think that looks really nice. And again, we've got the plastic transparent black color with the glitter in it, which I think does a really cool job of looking like outer space. So I quite like this one. I think they did a really good job of trying to capture that space look, but also, you know, match the colors of Ashima. Kevin is the same. I think they did a good job of keeping the yellow accents through him. Giving him the clear wheels is really nice. They've kind of made him into a rocket ship, I think. That's what those like little fire bits at the back are supposed to be, as well as his little space goggles. Again, I love the little fact that his crane arm moves. I think that's super nice. Yeah, this is a cool looking Kevin, and I think it does a good job of kind of trying to be, I don't know if it's super obvious it's space, but I think it does a cool job of taking enough of Kevin's normal colors and just doing some interesting stuff with them. So I think this one is nice, and I think in the scheme of things, they look quite good together as well. And then we get another one here, which is, again, I think these two are kind of meant to be the same. They use that same black plastic, and then this is obviously like fire porter or something. Sun porter, maybe. I like the orange clear part, and then kind of how it blends through the rest of him, I think is really nice. So I think this set of the Space Minis or the Galaxy Minis looks really nice together, and I think it's quite cohesive as a bit of a set. So this, to me, is a good set, even if this one particularly is a bit strange. All right, so the next theme is the winter/snow/ice theme. It depends which thing you read as to what it's actually called, but this is really nice. They've also done this kind of theme before, so I was a bit sus they might be repeating them, but they haven't actually repeated any, which is really cool. So, as you can see here, we've got a nice scruff, and again, I really like the coloring. I really love the paint. My question is just, is Scruff the correct choice for this because he is green? I don't know. But anyway, that's okay. I've always really liked the Scruff Minis mold. I think it looks really nice. And again, the paint on this one is quite nice, and I love the transparent ones. This is the Igloo, you know, kind of Edward. And again, he looks really nice. I'm pretty sure this isn't a repeat. I don't remember it being a repeat from anything else, even though they did do a snow and ice theme before. I love how they've done just the undercarriage transparent. I think it's really cool. Got the little shovel there. Really nice. Good to see Edward still getting some toys in this new, you know, post-Edward era. I think the red running board looks a little bit out of place, but I also think it does make him visually quite striking. So you guys can tell me what you think about that. The next one we have is Gator, and again, like very similar design, although it is a different shade of blue for his top part, and he does have the actual white wheels, which I think is nice. But again, you know, he's a green engine and he's gone blue for some reason. So, you know, there's that. I do like the design again on this one. I love the transparency, but I just don't think it just doesn't make that much sense. There are so many blue engines in Thomas. Why would you not save Gator for, you know, a different, maybe this one, for example, when you can actually have one that's green in this set? So, you know, again, I don't quite understand. Here we've got Paxton, and you can see my one actually has a little blemish on his nose, which is a bit unfortunate, but that is okay. And we have got clear Diesels before. I think it was it Sydney's the last time, potentially? But this is, again, a nice different one, and it's really quite cool. I do like that kind of ice. And I think, again, even though Paxton is blue, I think you get away with it because the black is the same, and then also you do have this kind of blue in the background. But again, it probably would have made more sense to make him one of the ones that was transparent blue, you know, because that would have been a bit closer. I mean, he's kind of got the green on there as well. So I guess it's not that different, but to me, it's just like the white doesn't make sense. Making him blue would have made more sense than making him white. But I think he's a good model nonetheless. And then the last one we get is kind of similar in theme to Edward. He's got the red there. He's got the white. He's kind of meant to be a snowman kind of vibe. That's what we're going for, with the little dots on the top, the coal dots, which are painted kind of whack, but that's okay. And then the clear blue wheels, but then the white undercarriage. So I think Luke looks all right, but again, like Luke's a green engine. I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts on the choice of engines, but I actually think, again, together, they look really quite nice. Very cohesive. It looks like a set that belongs together, and I'm really, really happy with how they've turned out. I just think some of the individual engine choices are a bit strange. Right, this next theme is called Cowboy, but I don't know why. Like, surely Wild West would have made more sense, because there's really only a couple, like, you know, we've got non-boys in this, so it seems strange to do that. We've also got this, which is Bill, but I actually have no idea what he's supposed to be. Like, I didn't even know this was part of the Cowboy theme. Like, what is that? Like, honestly, what is this supposed to be? I have no idea. Like, it looks kind of cool, but I don't understand what it's supposed to be. So if you can let me know what that you think that is meant to be, then please, because I just look at it and I'm like, it doesn't speak to me. And when you can't tell what the theme is when you look at one of these minis, I think they've got a problem. And to me, this one doesn't look anything like Cowboys. Meanwhile, look at Thomas, straight away you get it. Aside from the ridiculous moustache, you know, the bandana, yep, the star, yep, the cow leather, yep, it's all there. The colors are right, the browns, the blue, yep. Again, I think this is a really cool, and again, I think they've done enough to keep that blue there in Thomas so that you kind of, it makes sense. I really like this Thomas. I think he's pretty nifty. He is one of the ones I initially forgot, lol, so I had to go back and get him again. But yeah, I think this is cool, and it's really obvious what he's supposed to be. And that's the same as Diesel, who I also forgot in my, originally when I tried to do this review. And you can see he's obviously meant to be like a robber, which is why Wild West would have made more sense. He's got the gold, he's got the straps, he's got the bandana across his face, he's got those really comical villain glasses. Again, I think it's a really good way to lean into the villain of the show vibe. I think would have been cool to have like Diesel 10 in here as well. You could have had Diesel 10 and Diesel, and then you could have had Thomas and someone else as like the sheriffs or the deputies or whatever. But yeah, I think this is cool. I like this one. He's nifty. Then we have Ferdinand, who's an interesting choice. I don't know why we keep using him. Like, one thing to say about the minis is they're using characters like Ferdinand, who haven't appeared in the show in literally forever, but they really aren't using ones like the new characters they've invented really that much, which I think is kind of weird marketing, but okay. I like the pocket detailing on here, and the kind of, he's like meant to be a gold miner or something, you know, which again is why Wild West would make so much more sense than Cowboy. And I like this yellow color. It's different to most of the other yellows. It does kind of have like a bit of a kind of metallic-y shine to it. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's not just a yellow. It is a little bit different here. I can show you for a comparison. This is what the yellow looks like. This is kind of like the gold color, which I think looks quite nice. And again, I think this Ferdinand looks, you know, he's interesting. I just don't know if I like the choice of Ferdinand. And the last one we get is, I assume, like the female sheriff of equivalent thing, which is, you know, Emily. So Cowgirl Emily, I guess. You can see with the tassels and the bandana around the neck kind of thing. I don't know why she's got the clear white glitter wheels. That doesn't seem very practical in the desert, but that's fine. And again, I think she's cool. I think the coloring is a bit weird for Emily because, you know, it's pink and yellow and white, which is really nothing like the colors she has, but you can stand out on that. But again, I think the actual color scheme is kind of cool, and after a bit of a glance, you can work out what she's supposed to be. So I think this is a bit of a weird series. I think, to be honest, if we just take out the weird, this one, these four I think are pretty cool. I just have no idea what Bill is meant to be. The next theme here is like the sweets dessert theme. We have had similar-ish themes like this before, but I think this one is also quite nice. So again, it's good to see that we're getting Shane here as one of the newer characters in a mini. So he's meant to be like a mint chocolate ice cream sundae thing. I think he's fine. I think the colors are nice. You can really tell that, yep, this looks like an ice cream. You know, if the colors are right, you know, these colors look like Neapolitan. Yes, this looks like, he looks like an ice cream sundae, and I think they've done a good job to keep his coloring pretty similar to his green, so you can still recognize who he is. Again, another great job here is doing Rosie. So, you know, Sweets Rosie looks great. She's got the strawberries on her. Good. Strawberry sundae, yes. Again, makes sense. Nice colors. Think it's really cool. Don't have much to say about this one. We've also got a Sweets Troublesome Truck, which I think is cool, done in the transparent kind of color. You can see the ice cream in there. Again, I think that's kind of nice. Good to see that they're still rolling out the rolling stock, even if they haven't really made much more of it aside from that. I think Bertie is interesting, mainly because he's all white. So it is a bit strange to see Bertie being all white. But again, I do like the pattern. I think it's really cool to make him kind of like an ice cream truck or ice cream cart. I think is quite a clever way to turn him into something which makes sense in his theme. And the last one is, again, Ice Cream Gator. And I think they've done a better job here with making the green, ice cream cone with the green, although it is just awkward that the back part's not painted. So you literally look at this, you're like, oh yeah, ice cream, and then you kind of come around, you're like, oh lol, it's just the brownie color. But I do like that waffle cone kind of design. And again, all these ones, you look at them straight away, you're like, yep, ice cream. That's exactly what's meant to be going on here. So in that respect, 2 thumbs up from me. Next theme we've got here is the farm theme, or like, you know, down on the farm or something, which again, they've kind of done similar ones with animals before, but it's always a bit interesting when they do that. So let's just see if I can get this to focus. Oh, yeah, there we go. So you can see we've got like a sheep Bill, who is weird, like the face. I love it when they do stuff with the faces, but that's weird. Why his ears on the back? Like, I feel like he's been painted backwards. And I think that's what's happened here. Like, it seems like they've painted this backwards. I don't know if all Bills are like that, but he definitely feel like these should be at the other end. So let me know if you collect these minis. Is your Bill backwards? Or is he meant to be like this, but it's just, obviously, like, I don't know whether he's actually, I don't think he's supposed to be like this, but, you know, mine has been painted backwards. Are they all backwards, or is it just mine that's backwards? You let me know about that, because that's a bit weird. We've kind of got, like, what's meant to be, like, the sheepdog Percy. I think it's fine. It's a bit weird. Again, it's weird because the colors don't make sense. But if it's trying to be a dog, I think it does a good job of being a dog. We've kind of got, like, you know, Farmhouse Annie, which I think is interesting. Mine had a problem with the front wheels in that they were, like, not assembled correctly. So you probably can't really see it on camera, not really, but there was, like, a bunch of plastic. I had to kind of force this out of the way to get it to spin. And even then, I think the actual axle is a bit bent because of that. So that's a bit yikes. But anyway, I guess it only costs $2, then it is what it is. This is a cool design. I quite like it. I think this looks quite cool too. So I think this makes sense, like Barnyard Annie, as much as she would, I'm sure, be horrified by the thought of that. I've got Henhouse Toby, which is great. I think it would have been cool if they did a Bulgy to, obviously, you know, make Bulgy the one who had this pattern. But I think Toby works because they were talking about making Henrietta into a hen house. So I think this is kind of similar enough, although Toby looks quite happy for someone who's got a chicken on his head. But that's fine. I think the wood theme goes quite nicely. And then the last one here is we've got like Cow Diesel, which is so strange. I can know that we're going for, but like, what? And then is this the udder? I'm so confused. See, this is a really, really weird one. The more you think about it, the more it confuses you. But yeah, that's the farm series. Interesting. Quickly to consult the collector's manual, yes, so I was correct. Bill is meant to be the other way around, but he's not. So please let me know if you collect these, if your Bill is also backward front. But maybe that just means he's super collectible, I don't know. All right, second last series from this wave is the music series, or the musical instrument series. So you can see here, it's got like, I think it's meant to be like jukebox Flynn, which is interesting. Again, like his blue question marks, but I really like the pattern. I think it's a really nice way to incorporate the details that Flynn has on him to make him look like kind of speakers, the music notes. Yep, we've got the microphone, you know, the microphone's coming out. That's kind of cool. I don't know why he's got these wheels that are like the kind of glittery white ones, but that's fine. Maybe they have lots of that plastic left over. So yeah, he's interesting. I just think it's a bit of a strange choice. Like surely Belle would have made more sense to do as the karaoke machine, but I guess his shape is good. Diesel 10 is still getting a bit of a runaround, so is this DJ Diesel 10? It looks like it because he's got the headphones on, those little thingies, the hi-fi display things, and he's got a record player on the top. So I think this is kind of a fun play on words, like DJ Diesel 10, you know, it's kind of got, I don't know, I'm trying to think there's probably a cooler, you know, Pinchy in the house. Woo! I don't know. I have totally painted over Pinchy in this pattern, but that's okay. They have kind of incorporated bits of it into the design. But yeah, I think this is a cool one. Again, the colors are a bit weird in terms of thinking about the source material, but I can kind of let it go. Duck is, again, an interesting one. You know straight away he's meant to be like a keyboard kind of thing. I quite like him. I love the paint splatter on the top too. I really like the white and then the colored wheels. Like, again, very bold choice, but is it Duck? Let you guys have a think about that one. And the last one is Charlie as like a little kid's xylophone with like a little, you know, the hitty thing, the hammer, I think is what it's called. And he's just super brightly colored. I think he's all right because he's kind of still got the red going on. But again, white, like it seems like the color palettes of this series are a bit strange. Like you kind of want to do it like this when you display them, so you kind of get a bit more of that understanding of what was going on here. But yeah, this is an interesting little series. And the last but not least is the Hawaiian theme, which is interesting. So we have like I want to say he's like a tiki statue, but they might be getting confused with where tiki statues are actually a thing. Is that Hawaii? I don't know. You guys can let me know about that. He's interesting. The flame is one-sided. Like, this is obviously meant to be the one side where the flame's coming out. So that's an interesting choice to make it very clear that he has like kind of a good side and a bad side. I don't know. Strange, isn't it? But yeah, this is kind of interesting and cool. Yeah, don't really know what to say about that. It's just interesting. Tiki Thomas is kind of terrifying. Like, what is that face? Like, that is demonic. That looks like the kind of thing which is going to come and haunt you. And I don't know if that's, you know, intentional. Like, is he meant to be like some kind of evil character, like an evil spirit or something? I don't know enough about how this works. I don't even know if this is meant to be a real design or if someone at Mattel has just made it up or if it's based on a real Hawaiian design. I think the rest is cool. I like the little collar thing. I like the, you know, having the little flowers looks really nice and the fire things on top. I just think the face is terrifying. Don't want that. Get away from me. This is kind of what I imagined Hawaii more to be nice. You know, like surfboards. You know, we've got more of the flowers. We've got that wood, that classic grain wood design. I think this is good. I think this makes sense for Bertie too, because he's the bus, but he's like a holiday bus now. So this one's cool. I like this one. We have like Temple Toby, which I think is kind of cool in terms of the alliteration. You can see he's got the ferns on the top, and then he's got those kind of wood strutted designs on the side with all those evil eyes. But again, what's with this evilness? Like, Thomas and Minis are meant to be wholesome, but evil. So that's kind of interesting. And then the last one we get is, I think, is Bill. And I think they've done a better job of making Bill fit this theme than they did with Thomas. Like, the mask on the top here with the feathers coming out the top. Yep, and the pattern along the side. And then he's got his little spear. So I think this makes a lot more sense to me as trying to get the Hawaiian theme across than the weird Thomas thing does. Alright, so that was quite a long video because there was a lot of new Thomas minis to talk about in this wave. So in summary, I think this is overall a pretty nice wave. There's a lot of really cool minis in here. There's a lot of cool new themes. There's a decent amount of stuff celebrating 70th anniversary. There's this big series here, which I think is, for the most part, coolly designed, even if a bit strangely executed. I think they've done a good job of rehashing some old themes like the galaxy in the snow while making something new, while also trying to do, and kind of the sweets, dessert, you know, that kind of theme, and the animal theme, they've done something before, but I think this is a different take on it. Some of the minis are really weird, like really weird, but I think most of them are pretty cool. And it was quite fun to collect them, and it was kind of, you know, as much as I love having the checklists, there was part of me that kind of enjoyed going through actually not knowing which engines I was going to get and going to have to buy them. But I've saved you guys all the hassle of that by including a list in the description of this video of all of the nut bag numbers and which engines inside of them. So if you want to collect just some of them, then please use that list, copy and save it somewhere for next time you go shopping. That's all I've got to say about this review. The main thing is, do I think these minis are value for money for $2? I think yes. I think if you're still collecting them, it's pretty cool. I think the lack of classic minis still, and particularly the lack of introduction of some really key characters is unfortunate, especially characters who have appeared in the show pretty recently. Like the fact there's no Daisy, the fact that there's no Ryan, and the fact that there's no of the international engines like Hong Mei and that kind of stuff, or, you know, those kind of engines is a bit strange to me. because I think that is where you can really lean into the fact that Thomas has so many characters. Like, there's just so many opportunities with Thomas Minis to make heaps and heaps and heaps of the old characters, and people will buy them because, you know, they're cheap and they can have the whole classic cast. And as I've already talked about in my other reviews, still want more rolling stock, but I think they've really kind of leaned into these being the silly Thomas toys. And it seems like they're going back to basics with the Trackmaster and the push and long range in terms of going back onto Sodor. But we will see what happens because Mattel is strange. I can say I will pick up the new wave, which is called Series 22, which has whole new packaging, whole new box design, totally new minis again, as soon as it comes out in Australia. But my understanding is it's only just being released in America. So I can't imagine it will be here for another couple of months at the earliest. But that's enough of me talking. Please do all those cool things to do on YouTube, like and subscribe. Again, I apologize for the delay in this video, but alas, sometimes life just happens and minis are hard to find. So, thanks for watching. That's all we've got time for. This is XtremeTrainz.